back, guys, to the channel. Thanks for watching our content. So today we are back with another video, and this we are going to talk about one of the most important aspects when you're doing technical analysis, which is going to be demand, supply, support, and resistance. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into it, guys. So we are going to use AUD/USD as our example here. We're going to draw all our examples on this currency right there, AUD/USD. So what is demand and what is supply, and then what is support and resistance? Is it the same thing or is different? For sure, demand and support are totally two different things, and supply and resistance are totally two different things. So the trick is, every time you start a new week, go to your charts and label the demand and supply. So what is the demand? When you go to your charts, where do you find the demand and supply? That's where we're going to begin. So this is, for example, let's see, this week started on 7th till 11th, and the previous week started from 31st till 4th. For example, let's say last week was 7th to 11th, and the other week was 31st to 4th. Now you're looking at 7th to 11th. This is for our chart. 7th to 11th was the previous week, and the other one was 31st to 4th. Now we are going to look at this entire trend, this entire downward trend. Where did this entire trend start from? So we are going to move a little bit back and try to identify where this started from. This trend started from here, but it had another resistance right there. So we are going to label these two right here, and this is going to be our supply, and we are going to label it in pink color. So this is our supply. This is a 4-hour chart. So supply will always be the point where the entire trend has started from, or the point where we have a huge sell-off in the price structure. And demand is going to be the point where an upward trend has started from, or a point where we have a huge buy on the market structure. Now here is where the huge buy started from, the huge trend started from here. So far, this is our demand right here. So we'll label all the demand in color green, and we'll label all the supply in color pink or red. Now this is the demand and this is supply. This is the demand and this is the supply. Now how do we find the support and resistance in between these two? Because this is the highest point and this is the lowest point, demand and supply. Now how are we going to find our support and resistance in between there? So we are going to label supply, we're going to label supply, and we'll label this as demand. So this is the supply and this is the demand, and this is a 4-hour chart. Now we have a range right here. This is a range, and we'll label the range in color gray. So we have a range right there. It means the price, this downward trend came and it created a range in between, and then the range broke to the upside, retested, and then pushed to the upside, back to the supply, and it broke again back to the demand zone. We are almost in the demand zone right now. Now we are going to look for the supply and resistance, and how to look for possible entries depending on this key information: support, supply, demand, support, and resistance. So we only have one supply, one demand. The rest in between is going to be support and resistance. So for example, now we have to go back to the 1-hour chart to try and understand properly where support and resistance comes Okay, so this is the moves that are inside, in between the demand and supply. The moves you have inside demand and supply, they are going to be the support and resistances. So for example, you had a move that came from the supply zone, and you had a downward, a bearish move to the downward side, and it was moving up and down as you can see there on the market structure. So first thing, you're seeing a support being created here and a resistance being created here. So it means you're going to label here, this was the first support that was created, so you're going to label this in blue. This was the first support that was created, and this was the first resistance that was created, and then it retested again. So it means this was your first resistance and this was your first support. Now support was broken to the downward side, and then it broken again to the upward side, so it created a new support. So this was the new support, as you can see. Now support was created again, price moved back and touched and made a rejection in the resistance. This is where you get the opportunity to enter into the downward trend. Price comes back into the same zone and rejects there. So this is resistance. Now you have supply, you have demand right here. Now you also have support and resistance. We are going to label resistance as RRR, and you're going to label support as SPP. So this is the support and this is the resistance. Support, resistance, as you can see right there. Okay, now where do you get the opportunities to enter into that downward trend? This point where this support is broken to the downward side, support is broken to the downward side, and then you wait for that price to make a rejection at the support level. So this support turns into resistance right here, and then here you get an opportunity to enter and follow the downward trend. Now we have to look back again here, because we are going to notice a new support that has been created right there. So a new support has been created right there, and then if this support is broken, we are waiting for again a rejection of this support. Now support turns into resistance again, so it's a continuation of a downward trend. This is another opportunity to enter into a sell position, and if you had this still running here, you just do a continuation of another order, and then you wait and see if there is another support and resistance being created, and then you label that again also. This was another support being created. It was broken and price came back right straight into the zone. Now here you get another resistance created, and price comes back into the resistance. As you can see, price comes back into the resistance, rejects as it has rejected, rejects here, and then price falls. This is another opportunity to enter into a sell position. Now every time you see resistance, that is an opportunity to enter a sell position. Resistance, price comes to resistance, sell position. Support, price goes back to support, turns resistance, sell position. Support broken, retested, again sell, until this downward trend is totally over. That's when you look for opportunities to enter a position to the upward side. Now if you look back into the 4 hours to make a summary of this video, you can see properly that every time you start your week, go back and look for the major supply zone and major demand zone, then look for the supports and resistances to determine where the trend is looking, and then at last try and find where support has been broken and there is a retest of that zone, then that's where you find your entry, sell entry. Until this trend is over, we'll start waiting for a rejection of this demand and we look for a move to the upward side. We are going to look for a rejection of this demand and we look for a move to the upward side, or we will wait for a break of this zone to the downward side and then a move to the downward side again. So those are the two scenarios, but as of now we are seeing price already rejecting this exact zone, so we are just waiting for a break. So what are we going to do in this case? In this case, you just keep your trend line here like this. This is your trend line, and you see that price has exited the trend and is trying to create a good support. So what do we have here? We have some resistance that has been formed right there. We have resistance that has been formed, so we're going to wait for a break of this resistance to the upward side and a retest above the resistance so that we can start our upward trend. So in simple terms, that is how you use supply and demand, then support and resistance to get good opportunities to trade. So thanks for watching, guys, and keep it up.